Alright, this is a demo review for Failw1zard, I believe. He's the blue pocket on Snakewater. This is a UGC steel match, I think. So okay, for one, slow this down. Like Snakewater mid, there's a bunch of ways to approach it, and I don't think any of them start with you on the ground, like at the start of mid. Like, oh god, this game gets so slow. Like this position doesn't do anything for your team. If you plan on going up top left anyways, I would just roll out top left. Cause like you can see there, you rolled out on the low ground, you lost your buff immediately, you tried to jump up with 200 health, and like it just didn't work. So, hold on, I'll watch that again at normal speed. I believe you are running shotgun as well, which is fine. Shotgun's coming back, but if you're running shotgun, I would go the place where you have to jump the least to get in position. So I would have your default mid be top left, because you can see basically for the first, you got to mid at 940, and then yeah, you try to jump up and you take a lot of damage from the jump, obviously. So for the first like 10 seconds of that mid, you did 0 damage, and then you died because you weren't in a position to do any damage. You can also go like up there in that top right area, this pocket, but I don't think there's really any mid where you want to be on the ground unless you're planning to bomb across point. And at that point, you probably want to be on gunboats. So you lose mid, you're even Ubers though. It looks like your team is trying to get back in here. Okay, once again, you need to be on the high ground if you're going to do anything this fight, so that's good. Calling for a crossbow, that's good. Yeah, I don't really see why your team is taking this fight. They have better spawns, obviously. You didn't really have much to go off there. You had the position up top, but that other team should have had a much easier job forcing you. What they're doing right now is really questionable. They're let basically their whole team die. Yeah, but you can see they're getting out for some reason, but like it looks like your med dropped during that fight. Just overall, a dry push into mid with even Ubers is a really weird call. I don't know if your team saw something in front of you, but if you're gonna do that, it probably requires more committal, like a more committed jump from you to try and maybe get behind on their side and draw eyes, but just sitting up top and spamming isn't going to be enough to win a even Uber's dry push.
Alert! The control point is being captured.
Okay, so now you're holding last with 80% disad. This is a good position. This is a really standard position, but there's a reason for it. So they blind Uber in left. You guys had no off classes despite having a lot of time to get off classes. And then the Uber just sort of kills you. Not much you can do there. It's a push with Failw1zard, but I don't know why you guys didn't have like a heavy or anything. You had 6 up, you might as well have off classes trying to hold with Uber disad. You forget to roll out. Alright, it's fine. It's not a huge deal. Hopefully your demo rolls out lower or something and leaves this kit for you. Yeah, okay, that's like, no. I'm sure you know that's a mistake, and nothing to say about that. So you want to go top right this mid. Okay. You're putting, your other soldier was already top right, and then you decided to jump up there as well, which I'm not a huge fan of. That wasn't the problem that mid. Your low health was, so you were like 180 after your bomb up top, but if you're trying to play both soldiers in the same position on this mid, the demo is just going to shoot you and get a fuck ton of free damage, so I try to avoid that. You can play this from cheese, or your demo can play this from cheese, is a good position, because then your mid doesn't need to heal both of you. If you're in cheese, you're in a pretty safe position and you can still spam. Okay, so their flank is able to get in and get a pick on you, and you didn't really react to that fast enough. Like, if someone on the flank goes down, and right there were a bunch of people from the other team in lower, you want to get up on that fence, maybe. Is a good position to be able to spam them out from there. But you can't just sit on the low ground after you lose someone. You have to get in a good position because they're going to want to push off this, and this is one of the easiest second pushes in the game if you know how to do it. So you get that one pick. You're only at 25 disad here. Your roamer is just going to use that pick to countersec. So right here, you need to, I would build the entire way and try and make up this, because you know it's not that big uber disad. If you built this all the way, you probably could have made up 10 or 15% on them. Instead, you're not really gonna make up anything. You're gonna make 5% up. You were getting healed at 300 for a lot of that, and the spam that you were doing wasn't really spam that would have resulted in anything, like long range shooting at a demo when you don't have a roamer, even alive. It's not gonna make anything happen. And then I don't know what happened. You were 60% when you went to resup to get ammo, and then when you came back, you were still 60%. You remember to roll out this time. That's good. Hopefully you change out your mids, because they've been pretty bad. Really, every team should have a couple different mids they can do. My team has 2 or 3 ways that we start. And okay, that was a lot better mid. You guys had what you had that mid that you didn't have any others was like actual coordinated aggression. Like you can see, your bomb was ass. You failed one of the rocket jumps, but still the fact that you had everybody pushing across point at the same time and all shooting like the enemies, that's a good way to get a mid win if you're like a bit lost. If you're having trouble with other mids, just an all-out aggression mid like that can work. Gunboats could have been better there. If that mid hadn't gone so convincingly. I think your team got 3 frags as you were killing the medic. But if that hadn't happened, the gunboats could have been good to jump around more at the end of mid. You did use the shotgun to kill the medic, so it was useful for that. Looks like your med spent a lot of time before he started healing when he spawned. That's both yours and his job to manage. It's really good for a scout to go bank now because of the speed buff, but still you want to be keeping, not an eye on that, but being aware of the fact that your med needs to be healing when he spawns and calling for someone to go. Okay, so they're doing this, like, sniper top left hold. Okay, don't stand still against snipers. I'm sure you know that already. Just make sure you don't, sort of blank out. I like to run 2-man sacks on this last. They've got a much higher chance of getting a force than trying to put 1 man into this top left area. And if you fail the 2-man, you know they're gonna try and push out with 2 picks. Okay, so you spawned. That's their demo that goes down. So right now you're thinking that this is a good fight for you. You choose that you're gonna. Okay, yeah. I don't know. You went for that sniper, and the only people alive to take the Uber were your scouts. Your roamer wasn't really in a good position to. Killing the sniper is good, yeah, but if you're going to be using the Uber anyway, you might as well get over to your med to be ready to take it. So just one other thing that's important, if you're calling a lot, is, especially now with the speed buff to medic when he's healing scouts, before every Uber push, call for someone on your team, call for one of your scouts to be the scout that's getting your medic out. And just know that when the Uber comes in, that scout has to be right next to your medic, and then they just run out together. And that should be enough to keep your med from dying to literally any Uber, because like nothing can catch him if he's running out with scout speed. Okay, so you get a scout pick. Your roamer dies for it. Okay, I don't know if he had to die. If he didn't have to die, I'd rather that you try and push. Those are good rockets on that soldier. Here, I'm just gonna pause for a second and talk. So, see, I don't know if these deaths after you get picks are like, oh hey, we got a pick, we can sack one. And that's okay, that's a decent way to play TF2 is sacking after you get a pick. But on this point in specific, I'd like to see like a dry push after you get that first pick. This lower area is like super pushable, even if you only have one pick, just because of the way you can really make the fight go entirely. Like, you can really dictate the terms of the fight. You start with height disadvantage, but it's very easy to work your way up to the fence and onto the hut, and from there you're in a really good position to fight. So I'd like to see, I don't know if they're dying to get these kills, or if they're sacking in afterwards. It's hard to tell from just watching your point of view here. But if they could be living after they get the kills, just try and tell them to do that. Ooh. This is an interesting situation. It looks like they walked in behind you. Am I hallucinating? Yeah, okay. There were a couple ways you could have handled that fight. You chose to go around and just fight their combo. That's good. The other thing is second cap's faster than mid, so you could have just walked onto that second point and, like, cap race them, and you'll win that fight 99% of the time. Okay, that's... I just would have jumped right on that sniper, because you know your medic is behind you. So as soon as you see that sniper, even if, like, if you jump, the chance of you getting midair charge headshotted are, like, basically zero if you just jump on him in cheese and start spamming him out. Even then your medic could have delayed to make sure the sniper was pressured before he walked in. I'm not sure where he died. Looked like he was right. He was probably not in when the sniper was called and then walked in afterwards. But I would just jump right on him. I think something that'd be good for you to improve just in general as a player is run gunboats a bit, because you're playing a very waddly style of pocket, and that's, like, even the shotgun pockets that you see now aren't playing this slow of a pocket. They're still jumping around, they just don't jump as often, but they're still rocket jumping to good positions and then letting their scouts take heals during fights. Like, if I had to guess, your heals are probably around like 35% or higher in this log, or if you keep playing the way you do. Okay, so right now you want to make sure that you're backing up with your medic, or scout's backing up with your medic. This is a good position to spam for this push. And yeah, you guys are going to be able to sort of fuck them up. They get too aggressive, their flank does. So right now you just need to be clearing things and walking in. You should be playing up top as soon as you can. You should not be on the cap. No one should be chasing these kills. Like, that's just really poor play from your team. They've given you midpoint and you have uber disadvantage, so just stay on mid. You're not gonna get the force if the demo is like backing up and putting stickies down in front of them. You're just gonna walk into stickies and die. You're not really aware of the fact that they could be ubering you and wiping you right now. See, you've just taken your medic to death. You pushed up to like lock this demo out, but that demo wasn't the issue. You needed to start looking for their combo. That's something you always want to do when you have uber disadvantage, is find their combo and figure out where the uber's coming in. Because they just walked in behind you and you barely realized it. Okay, so once again, they're pushing last with 100% ad. The only off class you have is a sniper, and I think he's in forwards or something, where he was really aggressive. Heavy above the point is really good here. Even his pocket going heavy is pretty decent on this last. So open and scout or hit scan in general can be better depending on how you're playing it. Yeah, alright, that's just holding with uber disad and player disad. You're almost never gonna win that unless the other team fucks up massively. Okay, so let's see what you do on this mid.
Alert. The control point is being contested.
So yeah, see, if you had rolled out top left instead of like on the ground, you could have gotten to that top left position with 250 HP instead of 200. It looks like your team gets overzealous when they're given picks, like one player will go forward or something like that, and you'll just sort of die one at a time. So a good call to make, like in this situation, is like, hey, we've got number ad, we're gonna be pushing lower, no deaths right now, and just make sure your team's aware of the fact that everybody needs to stay alive. It's a really strong position for stuffing the refight. I really like that, actually. That was, you basically, by yourself, you were able to stop any chance of them being able to come and refight that. So that was really good. You heard the medic call for sniper. Hopefully you don't get shot by him again. That's good. I like going under to top right when you're taking lobby. That's a really smart play because it's basically impossible for your med to get headshot unless there's some really weird time to peek from lower, and that's almost never going to happen. But now that you've taken lobby isn't the best place to stay for like long periods of time. I don't think. I'd rather be outside. I would take lobby while you're staging for your sacrifice or while you're staging for your Uber push, but I wouldn't just sit here. It looks like you don't really have a plan for what you want to do. You're not getting your roamer buffed up to sack. It looks like he's gonna just go in with 200 health if he's bombing right now. Or you're sending your scout in to sack. After a sacrifice, I would generally try and get out of lobby and hold outside, because it's a lot easier for you to get forced by one person while you're in lobby, and it's a lot more claustrophobic in here. Your medic can't move around as much. Once again, your team's comms seem to be a bit weird because they came all the way behind you there. Their push out was really, really bad. They shouldn't have gone all the way to second with you in lobby. That round was definitely really winnable for you guys after they messed up like that, and especially with your demo going huge. Ooh, got a 1v1 for last. Oh, you hit that headshot. That's pretty cool. Yeah, so like that team pushed out in a way that no good team should ever push out. Like they walked to second. If you guys had any, like, even if you want to have everyone in lobby, you shouldn't have nobody looking at top left. Like their combo can't get out to second without you guys realizing it. So yeah, that was just the other team doing something really weird. You played very reactionary that mid. You chased around a soldier, and you can't, like, if you're on, you should really never be chasing around soldiers during mid as soldier, but especially, like, if you're on shotgun, you can't rocket jump as many times as him. That's gotta be something that your scouts are doing, and you should be, I mean, yeah, put one rocket on him, but, like, if it's at the point where he's already gotten past your team, I wouldn't, like, rocket jump after him. I'd try and go for the medic at that point, maybe. Bomb the medic. So, only off-class you guys are doing is the sniper again. I don't know why you don't run heavy. You haven't had a successful last hold, and, like, this last is not unholdable with Uber disadvantage. Especially with the other team doing these, like, blind Ubers through shutter every time. Like, they've blind Ubered through shutter every single time. Like, you know that if you put a heavy on the far back right side of point, their Ubers should not really be able to kill that heavy. If they're doing the same Uber every time. You guys are still able to hold it off. You did have a nice bomb. I like that. Like, you bombed behind their Uber. So you either would have forced, like, 3 or 4 flashes, or in that situation you drop their demo. That can be good, just don't get too predictable with doing it. Don't do it like every single time they Uber in, or they'll just have one person ready to shoot you when you jump behind them. But the way you did it was good. So you have 100% ad and ooh, geez. Okay, yeah. As you're pushing in, you want to have people. You want to have people going in at a bunch of different places. Like if you have your flank pressuring that demo, so that you can't just dump like 8 stickies and 4 pipes into that like one corridor. Can be like a really good. Can make it a lot easier to get in. Like you don't want your flank like committing and bombing onto mid, but if you have your flank just peeking in lower and trying to draw spam, it can help. If you have like a scout running in saw in front of you and then shooting the demo a bit so he has to back off before you walk in, that can help. But the way you did it, where you had 4 people sitting on top of each other walking through that choke, that's just not how you like. It's not how you're supposed to push, basically. But I'd say something you could try in general would just be put on gunboats and try and play with the freedom that it gives you for a bit. And then if you want to go back to shotgun afterwards, you shouldn't. That's fine. And then hopefully you can find yourself playing a looser play style than you were there. So anyways, I hope that was helpful.